PMI have just x-rayed him.
Yep.
There is something in his bowel.
It looks like the Jamaican will be here for some time.
The records show he has been issued 2 British passports in the last 7 years in this identity.
Yep.
But
Okay.
a Jamaican national submitting the same photographs, in other words, would appear to be the same person,
Yeah.
was landed as a visitor in a different identity in 2001.
All right then.
Okay, if I give
Yep.
you this,
Yep.
it's background information.
Okay.
The Miami flight has landed, and Officer Lee takes up position, ready to stop the Jamaican man with a suspected fake
Thank you
passport.
very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. How are you today?
Good.
It's the passenger she's been waiting for.
Where do you live in the UK, sir?
In Bristol.
Okay, sir. I just need to have a quick look at your passport, okay?
No problem. I've been going through for the past few days.
Oh, have you? Okay. Won't take a minute.
No problem. That's
All
the
right.
same thing I went through in Miami.
Oh, did you? Oh, dear. It's not your lucky travel then, is it?
Officer Lee plays it cool. She doesn't want the man to think this is anything more than a routine check.
You've been there on holiday?
I was in Trinidad first. Barbados.
Trinidad first, Barbados. You've had a long journey then, haven't you?
The
been out there
passenger's
for
trip
hopping?
to London via Trinidad, Barbados and Miami has taken nearly 3 days.
Okay, so what I'd ask you to do, please, just for a moment, can you just take a seat down there for me, please? And we'll be back with you as soon as possible. All right?
Where is he at the moment?
He's just sat over there.
Okay, I don't want him unattended at any length of time.
Okay.
So if we're going to go straight down now, let's go straight down now.
Yep.
After that, I want him fingerprinting photograph and I want him in the holding room.
Okay,
straight
no
away.
problem. I'll do it as soon as we come back up.
Thanks.
Thanks. We're just going to go down and have a look through your bags then. All right?
If he's obtained British passports fraudulently, it's actually quite serious. That's a prosecution matter. We may just look to refuse and remove, because that might be the more sensible option. But again, we can't make a call on that until we find out what's going on.
His route to London is one often used by drug traffickers. It makes Chief Dyson suspect there may be more to this case than just a fake passport.
I'm also a bit concerned that he might be involved in other activities, and a good check in customs would give us a bit of a pointer on that one.
A good check starts with his luggage.
Do you have the ticket?
Because of the serious nature of this investigation, they've brought in a customs officer to conduct the search. Finally, the customs officer finds something. The passenger is carrying too much booze.
Point out you are 1 litre over your allowance, but because you've been delayed here, it's a gesture of goodwill that you take that. Okay? Pleasure, sir. All right.
What next, sir?
Okay, you'll come follow me back upstairs, sir. Nothing found in the bags. They've swabbed them, nothing. No evidence of carrying drugs or having had them in his bags recently.
The passenger's bags may be clear, but there is still the matter of his passport.
What we need to do is just check the background of your passport.
What is the problem?
The problem is we just need to check into the background of your passport, that's all, as I explained to you. Just general inquiries, all right? And just make some
Again, Officer
inquiries.
Lee is careful
Okay,
not to
so you know
arouse
what's
his
happening,
suspicion
all right?
that this is
While we
anything
do that,
more
it's
than
preferable you
routine.
sit here, there's a-
She goes to see her boss for an update.
I've spoken to prosecution unit. They want to prosecute
Okay,
in this case, so we need to keep our input to a minimum.
to a minimum.
They're going to want details recorded, file making up,
Yeah.
and then they're going to get him arrested.
Okay,
So they're going to arrange for some uniforms to come over and take him away.
okay.
Okay?
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
The man will be arrested for having a false passport. But Officer Lee doesn't want to tell him just yet.
What's going to happen now is I need to take your fingerprints, okay? All right, the sooner we get it done, the quicker we can get on.
Next, Officer Lee will take the investigation further. A medical check.
Okay, sir, can you follow me? Because we just need to get you looked at by our doctor. Because we're holding you up, we need to make sure you're fit and healthy. He's going to have to go to the port medical inspector for an x-ray to check that he hasn't swallowed anything. Customs didn't have enough grounds to do an intimate search or an x-ray. Because we're detaining him, we have to make sure he's medically fit. So we do have the authority to take an x-ray. Great, thank you. Come with me, sir. PMI have just x-rayed him.
Yep.
There is something in his bowel.
It looks like the Jamaican will be here for some time.
What we've got here again is, you can see here, I think that's a little cluster actually because of the viewpoint.
Yep.
Over here, here, very, very tiny.
Yeah, there's one there, look, as well.
Yep, this area here is excess gas which is being produced by holding this stuff.
An X-ray taken at the airport reveals the man had suspicious packages in his stomach.
The doctor is 99% sure that the objects in the passenger's lower intestine are foreign objects. So the officers from Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs are going to go and speak to him now. Mr. Martin, would you come out, please?
Now, the doctor feels that there are foreign objects in your body system. We have no alternative, I'm afraid, and I'm arresting you on suspicion of being involved in the importation of a controlled drug. I must caution you that you do not have to say anything, but if you fail to mention when questioned something that you later rely on in court.
Because this is not a unique occurrence here at Heathrow, Customs have installed a special drugs toilet that will collect the evidence.
Once we've identified smugglers with packages of drugs concealed internally, we escort them to facilities like this. They sit on the toilet area up there. They pass the packages through. Then we'll switch the water on and we will generally clean the packages like that. We put the packages in the jar and then these are secured away as evidence.
If he's found to be smuggling drugs, then it's a whole new ballgame. He'll enter a kind of a different area of prosecution, and that will take the lead, particularly if he's swallowed them, because there's a health risk there. So he'll be observed by Customs until he passes them.
During the course of the day, after 2 sittings, 96 packets of cocaine were recovered.
I would imagine there was a sense of relief, though, because he knew he'd been found out. He knew there was no escape, and he probably just thought, I want to get rid of what's in there, because who knows what could have happened to him if one of them had burst or something.
If just one of the packets had burst, it would have been enough to kill him. The man pleaded guilty to drug smuggling and travelling on a false passport. He was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison, after which he will be deported back to Jamaica.
This gentleman has been called in for interview today. As I was going through his documents, I noticed that his birth certificate, on the format of it, it contains spelling mistakes. His wedding certificate that he gave has been signed by a registrar whose documents we know have been abused. For example, here's a blank one, and these are readily available on the streets of Lagos, and that you can just fill the parts in yourself.
The man has also submitted a suspect copy of his sponsor's passport.
I mean, this photocopy of a passport, I mean, that is a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy. That has been photocopied so many times that the details are no longer really clear. All right, if you can just call in this gentleman for me, please.
The man has submitted documents he maintains are genuine. Now Joe must decide if his story is credible.
Morning, sir. Just come and take a seat for me. Yes. The application form, did you complete it yourself?
Yes, sir.
And are all the details correct?
Yes, sir.
Why do you wish to go to the UK?
For family visits.
What's your relationship with your sponsor?
Cousin.
First cousin, second cousin?
First cousin.
How many children does he have? This is your cousin, you're going to be staying with him?
He's my cousin, but yeah. I don't...
You do know, because you wrote it in the application form.
But I think it's two children now.
2 children?
Yeah.
Right, why did you write 1 child in your application form? That's what your sponsor has got, yes.
No, I thought...
You forgot?
I think it's...
Okay. Are all these documents you've provided to me here, are they all genuine?
It's original.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, you're saying that your wedding certificate
Yes.
is genuine?
It's genuine, yeah. Original.
Your bank statement is genuine?
It's genuine.
The birth certificate of your child is genuine.
Yes.
What registry office was this registered at?
Eh?
Where did you register your child's birth?
I think it's Ikeja.
Akeja. Yeah, is that, you sure?
Eh?
Are you sure?
Maybe stick with this.
Do you know what registry office you were married at?
Eh?
Do you know what registry office you were married at?
Registrar office. The registrar office is Ikeja.
Okay, and where did you register your child's birth?
My birth file. I think it's Ikeja.
Okay, you see this? I can obtain this from on the streets in Lagos. It's signed by exactly the same registrar that you are stating completed your marriage ceremony.
Yes.
Okay?
No, let me.
And that's a blank one that I can just fill in. Yeah? Grace Adolu? Grace Adolu. Okay? Okay, are you telling me the truth?
Sir?
Are you telling me the truth?
Yes.
You are.
The applicant is sticking to his story, but Joe is not convinced. He has noticed some alarming similarities with a previous fraudulent application.
This gentleman, who's also wearing the same shirt, same jacket and same tie, was refused only a few weeks ago. When he applied, he also submitted all the same documents our applicant now has submitted. The fact that they're wearing the same shirt, same tie and same jacket says to me that they are going to the same agent, and I believe that this is a package, a new package which has just started circulating. I'm just going to see what his relationship is between him and the previous application, because they're all claiming to be the same person's cousin. Thank you. Hello, sir. Take a seat there for me. Thank you for being so patient with us. Just want to confirm that you're employed as a lecturer at Babcock University.
Babcock University, yeah.
How many students go to Babcock University?
Over 50 students, sir.
That's the whole population.
Yes,
50
it's-
students. Do you know a student by the name of Toheeb Yusuf?
I can't hear you very well.
You can't hear me very well.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm asking you, you're a lecturer at Babcock University where
Yes.
there are only 50 students. Do you know a student at that
100.
university by the name of Toheeb Yusuf?
Yeah, I think.
Yes? Is he a relative of yours? Are you
Pardon?
related to
Eh?
Mr. Yusuf?
What is it?
Are you related to Mr. Yusuf?
Yes, my cousin.
He's your cousin?
Yes, my cousin.
Do you know this person? You don't know this person?
No.
This person is your cousin. This is Toheeb Yusuf.
Eh?
This is Toheeb Yusuf, your
Yes.
cousin, who studies at your university where you are employed as a lecturer. He has produced exactly the same documents that you have. Exactly the same. Okay, you signed your application form, okay, and on that declaration, it tells you what the consequences are of making false representations, okay? So think about your answers. Is there anything you wish to say about your child's birth certificate, the wedding certificate? Is there anything you wish to tell me about these now?
For the certificate, marriage certificate.
I've already showed you that these are readily available
Yes.
on the street. I don't believe that this is a genuine wedding certificate. Is there anything you wish to tell me, or are these documents still genuine?
It's genuine document.
Genuine documents. Okay, thank you very much. You'd like to take a seat outside. You'll be given your decision in a few moments, okay?
Okay, sir.
Before making his final decision, Joe must refer the case to his entry clearance manager, Maurice Harper.
This gentleman, who in interview he said by the name was his cousin, when I showed him the picture, he didn't know who he was. All the sponsored documents are exactly the same.
It does look like a package, doesn't it, Joe?
Yeah.
The writing is the same on the application. It is obviously a whole package.
And I reckon
the
it's
letters
just
are identical, so that's fine. There's definitely a refusal.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Like almost 53,000 other cases a year, the man will be denied entry to Britain.
Thank you for being so patient with us. I know it's taken some time. I have made my decision, and my decision has been to refuse your application. In brief, it's because you have submitted forged documents to me. Do you have anything to say to me?
I don't know.
There you go, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. I think you took it quite well. It's surprising at how many people will not appeal that decision. They will then reapply, apologising profusely, saying that they got ill-advised by an agent. They completed the form wrong, it was completed by an agent, they didn't realise that they didn't sign that declaration at the back to say that it was completed by an agent. At the moment it doesn't automatically get banned for 10 years. It's only when he reapplies will the ban start from today's date.
Officer Lisa Lee has stopped a student who tells her he's coming back to Britain to continue his studies at a college in London.
On arrival, he was very vague about what he studied, didn't know very much about his subject area, which is IT. So what's a URL? What does HTTP stand for? He didn't have a clue. Now, clearly, he's been studying IT for almost 3 years. He should have a better idea of what's going on than that.
He appears to know little about his course, and Officer Lee suspects he's not been studying at all. The passenger says he's a student at Churchill College in London.
All right. Do you want to just grab your hand luggage and we'll go down and get your other bag? Okay. All right.
A bag search gives a chance to find evidence that can back up suspicions about a passenger's reasons for coming to Britain.
You studied a diploma in IT, yeah? But you don't know what URL is or HTTP? Right, you never mentioned this college to me before. I did. No, you didn't. You've forgotten where you've got your certificates from, haven't you? Yeah. College. You didn't tell me about this college, sir. I specifically asked you and you didn't mention it.
Officer Lee has found some college certificates from a different college to the one where he says he studies.
You didn't tell me you went to the College of Professional and Management Studies.
I told you before.
You did not, sir. You said you enrolled in October 2007 at this college. This says you were studying somewhere else at the time. I wrote it down. So how do you get a certificate from a college you don't attend? Wish my university had been like that. We're going back upstairs and then I'm going to interview you properly. You're not going to talk to me now? No? Fair enough. If you don't want to answer my questions, we can send you back to India without answering my questions, okay? If you don't answer, we can refuse you entry. Failure to cooperate with an immigration officer, yeah? He had some documents with him, some certificates from a college he's not mentioned at all to me on arrival. I specifically went through his study history in the UK, and he said he studied at one place for a year and then transferred to the college he claims to be studying at now. And he's got a totally different diploma from a different college that we've not come across before, so how did he get that?
Officer Lee phones the college where the passenger says he's currently studying.
Oh, hello, sir. It's Officer Lee from Immigration. What was his attendance at your college? Really? So why does he know nothing about his course then? So he was attending when? Right, from October 2007. All right then, sir. Thank you, bye-bye. The current college he claims to be at is maintaining he has a very high percentage of attendance.
The college supports his story, but Officer Lee wants to know more about the certificates she found in his bag from a different college.
Okay, this college, the number is no longer in operation. So I will do a quick check online and see if I can get anything else for them. Well, it still has a website. Okay, I've just checked the Department for Innovation University and Skills Register, which colleges have to be on if students are to be given their visas or extensions of stay. The college that you got this letter from is no longer on it, if indeed it ever was. So the phone number's not working, the college isn't on the register, but they do still have a website. But their latest news is actually from May 2007, so chances are it's closed down. So he's attending 2 colleges virtually the whole time to do the same course. He can't have been in 2 places at once.
The passenger appears to have been studying at 2 colleges at the same time. Someone's not telling the truth. Officer Lee wants to find out what he's been up to since he was given a student visa 3 years ago.
He's not a student here, I can just feel it. I just know from experience that he's not studying here, but we have to have concrete evidence that we can use to overturn his visa. That's what I'm going to go and get. Take a seat. You don't know the name of the college where you studied for a whole year?
No, whole year, 6 months.
6 months? You sure? So how long did you study at the second college was my question.
I think 8 months or so.
What subjects did you study?
Well, first year.
For your 8 months at the second college, whose name you can't remember, what subjects did you study?
Can't remember.
You can't tell me what the name of the college was or what you studied while you were there? You've forgotten?
I've got all my documents, you can check that.
Well, I'm asking you, sir, because the only way I can be sure that you've studied here is if you tell me, and you can't tell me anything.
Yeah, because I told you my memory is not so sharp.
That's not an excuse. I know why you can't remember the second one, because you never went there. When did you enrol at Churchill College?
October, I think.
October what year?
2007.
So why then do you have letters from the other college, the second college, saying you were also enrolled at their college at the same time?
What time?
The same time you say you've been studying at Churchill College?
No.
Yes, sir.
Can I have a look?
No, because that will give you the name of the college. One of them's wrong. I have a problem with the fact that you've got documentation in your bags which tells me that you were studying in 2 places at once. You may disagree with me, that's what the documents say. This leads me to believe that you've been less than honest with me so far today.
Listen, this is true.
Don't tell me to listen.
Okay.
I've got the documents. You can't remember what's on there because you never went there. That's why you don't know the name of the college. You've got documents by deception. How you got them, I don't know. All right, so stop messing about because this is ridiculous. Saying you can't remember the name of somewhere you claim to have studied at for 8 months. It's ludicrous. Ludicrous.
Need some time to think.
I can sit here and wait, it's fine. Tell me all the lecturers' names.
Can't remember.
Tell me what exam you sat last.
Can't
Tell
remember
me what the title of the exam was.
I told you I can't remember right now.
Why not?
Because my mind is not steady. I told you. My mind is all messed up. I can't remember. I need some time.
Rubbish.
It's not rubbish.
You've been found out. You don't know the answers because you're not studying anything. It's quite frustrating because I know that anyone with any credibility as a student would remember the answers to my questions. You know, where did you study? He can't remember a whole year of his life. It's quite obvious he's got something to hide. Quite clearly he's trying to conceal something about his past here. It may well be that he has been attending college, the current college. The problem I have is how can I be sure of that if he's telling me he can't remember his tutors' names, the modules he sat, when he sat an exam, or what exam he sat. It's just nonsense.
Officer Lee is convinced he's not been studying, but without hard evidence, there's little to go on. She talks it over with her chief immigration officer.
All I have is that he has absolutely no idea. He just can't remember anything about his college. He can remember his journey there, he can remember a bit about what he does at work, but every time you ask him anything academic, he's got no idea. College is saying he's attending, but at the moment he's not satisfying me that he is. But I don't know what we can do, because clearly I don't think we have enough at the moment.
No, because if it went to appeal, what we'll have is the college saying yes, he's attended, yes, he's got all these pass marks. We're the educational provider. We know if someone's a good student or not. Well, we haven't got enough to go on.
No.
Personally, I think we're flogging a dead horse.
I know. As frustrating as it is. I shall tell him the good news. He'll be thrilled.
I'm sure he will be.
As one of the colleges says he's studying there, and there is no evidence to say otherwise, Officer Lee has no choice but to allow him into Britain.
Right, it's your lucky day. All right? You awake? You understand what I'm saying, yeah? My Chief Immigration Officer and I have spoken about you at length, all right? Now, whilst I'm not satisfied that you're studying here, at the moment I don't have enough to cancel your visa. So you're being allowed to enter today, all right? However, when your visa comes up for renewal in November, you'd better hope that you can remember by then what you've been studying. Otherwise you're going to have a problem, all right?
So I think it was a bit stress, but end of the day it was quite good to a happy ending, what you say. I'll try and remember next time.
Unless I have an admission from him or from the college or from his employer that he has done something in breach of his visa conditions, I have no choice but to grant him entry.
No work, only sleep, eat.
Maybe some studying?
Yeah, of course. All right, bye.
Today, she stopped a woman from South Africa travelling on a visit visa. The woman also has an out-of-date letter. It's for a beauty training course called Steiner.
Steiner are a well-known training organisation that do beauty training for employees of cruise ships. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to ring Steiner before I do anything else, because if they can confirm she's coming on a training course, then it may not be more than just a quick chat with her. We have a passenger arrived today from South Africa. She's presented two Steiner letters from last year, and she claims to be coming on a training course starting shortly. I just wondered if you were able to tell us if she's registered. You're not expecting her. OK, they don't have any record of her on the training course.
The passenger's reason for coming to Britain is thrown into doubt. Officer Lee wants to know if what she's carrying in her bags tells another story.
You told the officer when you arrived that you were coming for a training course. Do you have a definite place on a training course in the UK?
What happened is last...
Do you have a place on a training course in the UK, yes or no?
No, ma'am.
So why did you tell the officer that you had a place on a training course when you don't?
Sorry if I said my answer very wrong.
She appears to have very little cash, in fact no money at all to speak of, and she's brought with her CVs, which you don't really bring on holiday, and all her beauty training certificates, which I guess you could say could be legitimately there if she's planning to enrol on a training course or hoping to embark on another cruise ship. But other than that, she's got no real reason why she would have her CVs with her. I'm just concerned that she may have worked here previously and she may be intending to work in the UK. What is the purpose of your visit?
Me joining the ship?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
OK, I spoke to the agency and they're not expecting you. Why didn't you arrange your place on the training course before you came?
I don't know where to start. Okay, just like where I come from, the place where I live.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of friends here in London.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I wanted to leave Cape Town, like where I'm from, because I didn't want to spend any more money, and obviously because I was going to be the one who buys my own ticket.
Right.
And because of the ship being the only bread, and me helping out my brother to go to college.
So the only way you earn money is on the ships, yeah? You okay? I'm just thinking, you know, it seems like a long way to come if you haven't got a place on the course already sorted. Why didn't you do it before you came? Would have been easier, wouldn't it? You could have got the letter from them and everything. It would have made your life a lot easier. Is there a problem back home?
I'm the only person that's looking out for me and my family.
You're the only one that has any money and that support. So are you supporting the whole family on your salaries, yeah? Okay.
Before Officer Lee allows the woman through passport control, she must consult her boss, Chief Immigration Officer Matt Dyson.
I can sympathise with anybody who feels, you know, they've got to work hard for their family and have to leave their own country to do it. Fine. But in the end, she falls well short of the requirements for entry as far as I'm concerned. She's basically not told the truth on arrival.
No.
She doesn't have enough funds.
There's a flight this evening, if we want to remove her today, via Doha.
Okay, well, as it stands, unless we hear anything different, I'm sorry, but she will have to go home.
Okay.
Thanks anyway.
No problems. This is particularly tough because I've been to where she lives. I know the township she comes from, and it's pretty horrible. Most places don't have electricity. You know, it's rough. So the money this girl is on when she's on board ship is a lot of money in South Africa. So she would be supporting her mum and brother. And in a way, you're kind of robbing her of the chance to provide for her family, and you just think, well, I'm sending her back. I'm afraid it's not very good news. Okay, you are going to be refused entry to the UK today, all right? She just doesn't qualify today for entry. If she can satisfy either an entry clearance officer in the future or another immigration officer in the future that she qualifies for entry on another day, then her case will be viewed on its merits. It doesn't automatically exclude her from coming back to the UK in the future.
A team led by DC Andy Cornwell are planning a dawn raid. They are targeting a company owned by an Indian national called Jatinder Sharma.
At the beginning, the intelligence was passed to us, and it suggested a chap called Jatinder Sharma was supplying counterfeit educational documents to the Home Office to enable...
The team believes Sharma is married to two women, Neelam and Racket.
Overview of what's happening.
And that all three run a visa racket that has given thousands of people access to Britain who shouldn't be here.
Police officers, I have a warrant to search this premises. Can you come in, please? Yes, he upstairs, is he? Right, I'll come up with you then. Hello there, sir. Are you Mr. Sharma? So if you come downstairs with us, I shall explain everything to you. Sorry.
Sharma is a trained solicitor whose previous clients include the hook-handed Muslim cleric Abu Hamza. The officers want to contain Sharma and his wives so they can't destroy incriminating evidence.
I've got a warrant to search this address for forged and counterfeit educational documents, and also any articles that may be used to manufacture those documents. Okay, do you understand that? Right. Come and have a seat, madam.
What is it?
What is your name?
Racket.
Racket, have a seat in that chair for us, please.
DC Cornwell has something else on Sharma and his wives. He suspects they've used deception to stay in the country.
But my colleague's got something that he needs to say to each of you first.
You're going to be arrested, okay, on suspicion of obtaining leave by deception.
Me?
Yeah. Do not say anything about harm defence and do not mention when questions are later in court.
Fact, yeah, Junior, this is Neelam.
Neelam, we've had info that you've been assisting a non-EU citizen to remain in the UK.
Neelam is suspected of endorsing Raki's fraudulent application to stay in Britain.
Also, you do not have to say anything about harm in defence. You do not mention when questions are later in court.
Raki is here on a work visa, but has never worked where she's supposed to.
Racket, you should not be in the UK. You're under arrest for obtaining leave by deception.
Right, can you come with me then upstairs? Can you come with me upstairs? No, I don't want you talking. You've been arrested.
With Sharma and his two wives under arrest for immigration offences, the team look for evidence that they're behind the bigger crime of running a fake visa factory.
Do you have any documents in this building, Mr. Sharma, in this house that you shouldn't have?
Please feel free to, because I don't do any kind of deception, sir.
So far we've found bank statements showing large deposits. We've also got various, what appears to be Indian certificates, and blank letterheads. And we've also got a stamp and an ink pad for the Smile Dental Clinic. A bit tricky to read backwards, but it's Bangalore.
If the certificates and the stamps are counterfeit, it could go some way to enabling unqualified people to work fraudulently as dentists in Britain. And while there's evidence they're moving large sums of money around the world, it seems Sharma likes to keep it in the family.
And Mr. P. Sharma? That's your younger son. So your younger son is 8?
What is this?
And he owes money. His bank account's in arrears. That makes no sense.
Is it an offence?
Sorry?
Is it a crime?
Well, it depends who's using, or who P. Sharma is.
After 2 hours of searching, the officers have found £6,000 in cash, details of bank deposits totalling hundreds of thousands of pounds, and suspected fake certificates. Now, tucked away in one of the bedrooms is perhaps the most revealing find so far.
What we found here in the bedroom is a carrier bag which contains a vast quantity of stamps, different stamps and stamp making machines. It may well be used in the to facilitate defrauding the Home Office with qualifications that maybe haven't been obtained by the relevant person using them.
The raid has thrown up plenty of questions to put to Mr. Sharma and his 2 wives. And that's after only searching their home. Now the team have their sights on their business address.
What you've got here is people who are abusing the privilege of living in the UK, and that's what we're hoping to prove today in relation to these individuals.
Marvellous. See you back at Southall.
Excellent. Jatinder Sharma and his 2 wives are brought to Southall Police Station. Evidence found in their house suggests they're involved in manufacturing bogus certificates for visa applicants.
I think you're all aware that we were quite successful this morning. We've recovered approximately 50 to 100 stamps in all different sorts of identities and for all different sorts of companies, which tend to suggest the occupiers are involved in some sort of fraud or deception against the Home Office. And we've seized bank accounts which show that they're making money from their enterprises. I think some of the accounts have got 50,000, some have got 20,000 pounds in them.
Jatinder, can you turn to your left, please, so you're facing that wall there?
The officers have plenty of questions to put to the suspects. But first, they want to look for more evidence. The team believe that crucial documents will be held at Univisas, the business Sharma runs with his wives Racket and Neelam.
We've just arrived at phase 2 of the operation. This is the business address of Univisas. This is where the 3 people who were arrested at the home address work. So we've got a search warrant to search this property. Again, looking for any items of documentation of interest, specifically immigration related.
On the surface, Univisas is a legitimate legal firm giving advice to overseas applicants for UK visas. The team suspect it is a front for a racket producing fake documents to help thousands of people stay in the UK illegally. It isn't long before they discovered just the sort of papers they're looking for.
I'm excited about that, mate.
Oh, yes. It looks as though these are applications for visas for Chinese nationals to come here and study English. That's what it appears to be, anyway. It's not something that a genuine student should need, any kind of immigration advisor. So why does this need to involve Univisas?
All very odd. The tissue of deceit continues.
In another room, there's more damning evidence with potentially alarming implications.
Another stamp for a company, obviously to legitimise fraudulent documents. As we found at the home address, you've got there's like fraudulent documentation for dentists and doctors, etc. If these people are successful, it does make you wonder: are these people working illegally in the medical industry? Are they looking after vulnerable people?
The apparent scale of Univisas' activities is even greater than the investigation team had suspected. And now, after a 3-hour trawl, the officers find evidence that leave little to the imagination. Sharma has emailed a supplier of fake educational documents on behalf of a client who wants to stay in the UK.
Fantastic, isn't it, Dave? Here we go. This is a little shopping list. We need a PG diploma for the following candidates.
Oh,
we need it ASAP.
He's not studied anywhere. He needs international graduate students, so we have to show some course.
That's fantastic.
That is the killer, isn't it? He's very fussy and wants some accredited UK college. Oh, fantastic.
He's clearly paid a bit more money for that.
That's what we've been waiting for, isn't it?
Brilliant.
He's not studied anywhere. He's been in the UK for 3 years, but his leave is running out, so he needs to get onto the IGS, is the International Graduate Scheme, and this is a scheme supposedly to keep quality graduates in the UK. They can switch into employment, so we have to show some course. Might be a diploma in business administration from July 05 to October 6, and then the postgraduate diploma. So clearly that's a request for a certificate so that it matches in with a fictional study history. But in the first sentence there, hasn't studied anywhere, so it's a lie to facilitate the person's permission to stay in the country.
Combine that with the stamps that they've got next door and the stamps from the home address, I think he'll be serving a long time in prison, quite honestly.
Jatinder Sharma and his wives, Neelam and Racket, have been in custody for the last 6 months awaiting trial. They are accused of submitting fraudulent visa applications on behalf of foreign nationals hoping to work in Britain. DC Cornwell and his team have sifted through 90,000 seized documents and have unearthed the biggest immigration scam ever seen in this country. Sharma and his wives forged papers to secure visas for more than 1,000 people through their company, Univisas.
Univisas have generated income tax return forms, they've generated education forms, and they've also generated pay slips and employment records.
And there's proof the rubber stamps found at the Univisa's office have been used to endorse the bogus documents.
So that's the stamp, Office of the Joint Income Tax Officer, which is this stamp here. Now, our scientists have studied that impression and the stamp, and they've concluded that there is no doubt the stamp has made that impression.
Univisas charged would-be foreign workers up to £4,000 a time for fake documents to back up their applications. The police believe the company may have raked in more than £3 million, most of it still unaccounted for. It's down to DC Andy Cornwell and DC Simon Prothero-Jones to track down the missing money. Today they are at court where Sharma, Racket and Neelam are due for a plea hearing. All three have already pleaded not guilty, but they have good reason to change their minds.
The judge has made it clear that today is the last day that a discounted sentence is on offer, and without a doubt for all the defendants, any discount which they get from an early plea is going to be substantial. We are talking years off their sentence. As a result of that, things are getting fairly heated in there between the defence teams and the prosecutor. It is very fraught, but there's a lot at stake.
Racket and Neelam stick with their pleas of not guilty, but Jatinder Sharma tries to strike a deal with the prosecution. He's willing to plead guilty on one condition.
He was prepared to plead guilty, provided we excluded his house in Southall from any sort of cash confiscation. That kind of set us thinking, really. Why is he so concerned about his house? It led us to sort of muse that perhaps there's a load of cash stored somewhere in that house, which is why he doesn't want the house the subject of any confiscation. And the hoolie bar, the enforcer.
The only way to find out is to go back to Sharma's house to take a closer look.
And it would appear that their business over the 18 months it was running has turned over probably £3 million. Now, if you look at that, and we say maybe £1 million of that has gone in expenditure over the 18 months, we've frozen assets in their bank accounts of 400,000, so that leaves us short 1.6 million.
We've got a warrant to search the address, okay?
The reason we're back at the home address today pretty much is that we're looking for anything which could have been missed. It could be as simple as a big pile of money underneath the floorboards. It could be bank documents relating to an account which we didn't know, accounts, shares, stocks in somebody else's name, anything which is going to lead us to the outstanding funds.
I still think there's a lot more money in this house somewhere, so we're going to go back in, lift floorboards if we have to, go up into the loft, lift the insulation, just absolutely every nook and cranny. You've got to look around the house around us. It's a state. Here's a man that had hundreds of thousands of pounds in the bank. This one house, with a very limited amount of equity in, is what he's desperate to keep hold of. Why is he so desperate to keep hold of a house which is literally filthy and falling down?
You know, I mean...
Ripping out floorboards and insulation doesn't reveal the cash the team are looking for.
Oh, oxygen, fresh air.
I don't know about...
But opening post addressed to Neelam unearths bank accounts the team didn't know about.
Punjab National Bank. We found a bank account in the name of Neelam. This account, which we weren't aware of up until now, contains just over £20,000. So that's of interest. And again, there's another 40, 50, 60,000 pounds at least. So she alone has the best part of £250,000 in her bank accounts.
The arrest of Neelam does not appear to have stopped large sums of money being moved between her accounts.
30k remitted by Neelam to India. So that explains we're another 30,000, well, 30,000 on this one statement.
Transferred into another of her bank accounts, or?
Yeah, interesting though, the last one was on the 17th of the 12th, 08.
17th of the 12th?
Yeah.
While they're in custody?
While they were in custody.
That's not good.
Even though Neelam has been in prison awaiting trial, some of the illegally gained money in her accounts has been squirreled away in Indian banks. But there is still over £1 million missing.
This search here has been worth its weight in gold, literally to us. We immediately traced tens and tens of thousands of pounds. I suspect once I take all this paperwork away with me, sit down at a desk and go through it in a lot more detail, it may well help me trace hundreds of thousands of pounds, and that's getting towards the sort of figures that we're looking for.
We've had a fantastic result, really. I'm pleased. Jatinder's pleaded to absolutely everything. I know he's guilty, he knows he's guilty, he's finally done a decent thing and admitted it.
There is a real sense of satisfaction of actually seeing Jatinder stand in the dock in the court and finally admit his guilt. You know, he has done all of this stuff wrong, he's lived a good life out of it, he's made an enormous amount of money.
Hugely satisfying, but still a lot of work to do.
The officers still have the painstaking job of preparing for a trial. It will be for a jury to decide whether Racket and Neelam helped Sharma to perpetrate Britain's biggest visa scam. It's been more than a year since the UK Border Agency and police raided the offices of Univisas and discovered fraud against the Home Office on a massive scale. Company boss Jatinder Sharma has already pleaded guilty.
Well, Alice, one of the many striking things about this case is the arrogance of the man who ran the scam. He was so confident he could get you into this country illegally. He offered clients a no-win, no-fee option.
Today, after a 4-week trial, the jury is expected to deliver their verdict on Sharma's wives, Neelam and Racket.
Racket, she's offered a number of defences. You know, if one fails, we'll try the other. If that fails, we'll try the other. First of all, I didn't know anything about anything. But then, if I did know, or if the jury believe I did know about it, then I'm going to offer a defence of marital coercion. Neelam's defence is just, at the time, I wasn't aware of any wrongdoing. If it happened, and she has kind of accepted it did happen, then it's down to Racket and Jatinder.
It's for the jury to decide if they're telling the truth. By gambling on a trial, the women risk receiving tougher sentences if found guilty. It takes 4 days of deliberation before the jury reaches a majority decision.
We've had a brilliant result today. We've now had all verdicts returned on Racket and Neelam. Neelam was convicted on the money laundering charge. Racket was convicted on everything, all of the charges against her. We've just come out of court. Jatinder's been in the dock with them, and all three have been sentenced.
The jury accepts that Neelam was not behind the fraud, but she is sentenced to 4 years in prison for laundering some of the £3 million that poured into Univisas. Racket conspired with Sharma to defraud the Home Office by submitting bogus visa applications. She is sentenced to 8 years in prison. Jatinder Sharma is given credit for his early plea and is sentenced to 7 years. Thanks to their criminal activity, there could be thousands of people in the UK who are not entitled to be here.
Univisas is obviously an immigration consultancy. There are hundreds of those operating throughout the capital and throughout the country, and a lot of those will be running similar sort of scams. So what we've really dealt with over the last 12, 13 months is I believe, the tip of the iceberg.
It's been a long and complex investigation, but it's not over yet. There's still the missing money to track down and seize. As for Jatinder Sharma and his 2 wives, they'll be deported to India after they've served their sentences.